my name is Peter Ronco, and I'm the head of global development at Janssen R&D and serve on the board of directors for TransCelerate. Our vision for TransCelerate has always been to improve the health of people around the world by accelerating and simplifying the research and development of innovative new therapies. Over the last 10 years, we have a track record of simplifying the way clinical research is conducted. Some of these changes are cutting edge, innovative, they're step changes in how we operate. But many of these changes could be viewed as less sexy. They're defining standards, establishing industry-wide templates, and removing some of the really annoying barriers to clinical research that stand in the way of us being truly patient and site-centric. These changes are just as impactful and critical to TransCelerate's success and value. I'm going to focus my comments today on the process harmonization program, which is foundational to delivering efficiency and enabling modernization across the entire clinical trial ecosystem. These include clinical content and reuse, digital data flow, real-world data, etc. So the process harmonization program is where many of our data-driven initiatives and solutions live. Collectively, these initiatives enable us to design better studies, automate the use and reuse of information, and leverage existing platform technologies to reduce the burden on healthcare systems and patients to answer important research questions. So, for example, as we witness the explosion of new emerging technologies, the importance of delivering solutions that promote how we work across systems becomes even more critical. This application of technology to conduct research during the pandemic was so critical to be able to rapidly design and deploy vaccine and therapeutic trials for COVID. How do we build off those learnings? As we aim to industrialize what we learned, the efforts within the process harmonization portfolio will help to accelerate that and hopefully help to minimize the tech burden on site, patient, and other key stakeholders. How do we make the technology as part of a clinical trial just as easy to use and as integrated into our lives as all of the consumer apps we use every day? So let me provide some highlights of the process harmonization program. Clinical content and reuse. That started with the Common Protocol template, which began over 7 years ago, and is probably one of the most successfully adopted solutions by industry stakeholders across the entire globe. It made it easier for end users of the protocol, clinical research professionals, investigators, site staff, regulators, to consume and use the information they need to do their jobs. It connected the purpose of the protocol to the data we ultimately need to collect and the consistency it established, and it set the stage for the launch of the Digital Data Flow project. It's also driven considerable efficiency in terms of the ability to reuse content and assure consistency across research programs. Digital data flow picked up where clinical content and reuse left off in terms of leveraging data standards, standard APIs, common data models to allow information to flow freely across previously disconnected systems. This will help us to automate what has previously been highly manual curation of data multiple times across multiple platforms. It will also allow us to layer analytics across those protocols and research programs to assess risk, drive quality, and reduce burden. Ultimately, all of this is aimed at accelerating the development of new medicines while reducing effort across the ecosystem. Our work in real-world data and Project Vulcan are less mature than the others in this portfolio, but when all is said and done, we'll certainly be informed by what clinical content and reuse and digital data flow are delivering. They may also be really key to truly making research accessible to more patients and to making new medicines accessible more broadly. This will also be among the most complex and challenging efforts we are leaning into from a broader portfolio perspective. And finally, as we build more efficient means to use data and answer research questions, we must always consider how will this affect patients, sites, and sponsors. We must move forward to remove challenges and obstacles that are in the way of modernizing how we conduct research. So, what does the future look like? So anyone who has walked a patient through the steps of participating in a clinical trial will agree, we're not even close to a patient-centric or consumer-grade experience. Yes, we have made great progress, but we still rely on processes, templates, and technologies that have to change. TransCelerate has just as much of a burning platform today as it had 10 years ago when I was part of the team that started this to overhaul how we run clinical research. There are constant advances in our field every day, but many times those efforts are siloed. And by being part of TransCelerate, member companies are better enabled to collaborate for increased innovation that will only benefit our entire ecosystem where patients are at the core.